One of the interesting things about individuals with autism is their social characteristics. As the name would suggest, autism spectrum disorder, the social characteristics have a full spectrum when it comes to people with autism. One of the general things that they have in common is the perceived awkwardness of social interactions. They may not adhere to general rules of personal space. They may say inappropriate things at inappropriate times or may respond awkwardly. They may laugh at things that are not necessarily funny. So for my observation this week, I did observe the same student that I did prior to for my first journal. He is a fourth grade male student. This student is selectively nonverbal. He is able to speak but chooses not to most of the time. For that reason, it can be very difficult for him to interact with his peers and interact with adults, specifically his teacher during lessons. What I observed of him is that even when he is interacting with his peers, he is still selectively nonverbal. He does like to joke around with his friends, so they have found a common ground through humor. And a lot of the time, their humor is going to be physical. So they will make faces at each other or they'll pretend to sword fight. And this fourth grade student has a lot of fun with his peers. So I'm not seeing any lack of social interaction. I am just seeing the awkwardness and the inappropriateness of this. Of the interaction, inappropriate used very loosely, meaning just not appropriate for the situations. In the future, I would definitely like to see him be more verbal with his interaction. So that is one thing that I'm going to be working on with him during the school year. Other characteristics that I observed was that he tends not to initiate the interaction. Once the social interaction has been initiated, he will definitely join in, but he often does not initiate on his own. Even when prompted by adults or other friends, he usually prefers to wait for someone to initiate with him. Other things that I had noticed are that he does prefer to interact with one person rather than a group of people. So he does have several friends, but he only interacts with them on one-to-one occasions. He does not interact with groups. So I think that he has an anxiety when interacting with groups of people. So I definitely want to provide him with strategies to be able to address those social interactions. I think that pairing him with a peer buddy during the school year for non-structured times might actually work. So I'm hoping to incorporate some peer buddying systems throughout the school year to help him interact with more than one person at a time, maybe two or three at a time on the same topic, even just sitting at lunch and talking about a movie that they saw. So in the beginning, maybe it would be slightly structured, but in a non-structured time, if that makes sense. Those are the characteristics that I had mostly observed from this student. So I definitely want to work on some of those things. I am very proud of him because during the school year, he was not interacting with his peers. So for him to be interacting with new peers during such a short time for summer school was a tremendous achievement for him. So I'm very glad to see that he's making progress. I think that he makes the most progress in smaller groups. So I'm hoping to be able to provide him with those opportunities.